Now, what is it that we're going to do over these next few months? Firstly, when we reach 80% single dose, people will remember just a few days ago I made announcements about 70% single dose, picnics and some things of that nature. Once we reach 80% single dose, which is on or about the 26th of September, so not many days away at all, Melburnians will be able to go outside to catch up with friends and be involved in some of the outdoor activity that they have longed and craved and really missed for a long time over these last 2 years. For instance, you can play basketball, golf, tennis, cricket and other outdoor recreational activities, but the same limits on households and numbers will apply with picnics. This is really important. It means that people can get back to doing the things that they love the most, things that are really passionate for them, a big part of their life. But it's got to be done safe, and there will be venue to venue, activity to activity, rules and COVID-safe plans. And I know that people so desperate to get back to these things will take those rules seriously and make those activities as safe as possible. Personal training will resume for up to 5 fully vaccinated people outside. For regional Victoria, at that same milestone, on or about the 26th of September, masks can be removed. This is for hair and beauty. Masks can be removed for your entire booking at the hairdressers or at the facility where you're getting beauty and personal services. In education, final years VCAL students can return to on-site learning. Now, schools, and this is the first, it's significant, but it's the first and not the last piece of the schools plan. The Deputy Premier will be out in just a few days' time to talk about airflow, filtration, ventilation, things we're doing to make classrooms safe. He'll talk about all manner of different elements and fill in some of the detail beyond what I'm about to say today. But for Melbourne, from the 5th of October, that's an indicative date. We believe we'll be able to deliver that, but on or about the 5th of October, and that'll firm up in coming weeks. Students in Melbourne, students can return to sit the GAT, if that's required, on the 5th of October. From the 6th of October, on-site learning for VCE units 3 and 4, and final year VCAL and IB students. They'll be back in the classroom. From the 18th of October, prep students return 3 days a week. Grade 1 and Grade 2 students return 2 days a week. So it's staggered, it's balanced, and it's about limiting the spread of this virus. Schools involve a lot of movement. Lots of kids, lots of parents, lots of teachers and staff. Lots of movement to and from. But this is how we're going to do it. A staggered reopening. It'll look different, but they'll be back in the classroom. At 70% double dose, the indicative date being the 26th of October. So that's phase B of the national plan. So what I just mentioned was the 5th and 6th of October. Now jumping ahead to the 26th of October, when we believe we'll be at 70% of 16 and over will have had not 1 jab but 2. The following will apply. The lockdown will end. Reasons to leave the home and the curfew will no longer be in place. So lockdown will be off. 10 fully vaccinated people will be able to gather outdoors. Physical recreation and community sport training will come back for minimum numbers of people. There'll be rules and structures around that, but it'll be back again. May look a bit different, but it will be back. The lockdown will be over. Pubs, clubs and entertainment venues can open to 50 fully vaccinated people, but it has to be outdoors. In this 70 to 80 phase, there is a massive priority toward outdoor activity because that is so much safer than indoors. It won't be what everyone wants to hear. It won't be what everyone wants to do, but it's what's possible, it's what's safe, and it's what we're announcing today. Pubs, clubs and entertainment venues, 50 fully vaccinated Victorians outside. That's at the 70% mark, double dosed, on or about the 26th of October. Weddings and funerals will be open for 50 fully vaccinated people, again, outdoors. In terms of schools and education, all school students will return to on-site learning at least part of that learning week. At least some of their week will be for all students in the classroom face-to-face. There'll be further details provided and exactly the sequencing and how that works in the intervening period. We do have some time before the 26th of October. Hairdressing and personal care open for up to 5 fully vaccinated people, but that can be done inside. It's rather impractical for much of that to be done outside. That's metro. For regional Victoria, once we get to that 70% double dosed on or about the 26th of October. Social and recreational, community sport returns indoors. There'll be requirements on minimum and maximum numbers. Pubs, clubs and entertainment venues are open indoors for not the 10 but for 30 patrons. They'll have to be fully vaccinated though. In education, all school students return to on-site learning at least part of the learning week. So essentially the same principle as Metropolitan Melbourne. There may be some variance school to school, but the same principle. All students back for at least some of the learning week each week at that point. For faith gatherings, funerals and weddings, they're also allowed 30 people indoors and 100 people outdoors. Now, having passed through the 70% double dose toward the end of October, we will then, on or about the 5th of November, we will reach 80% double dose. That is we won't say that's the end, it's not. We're going to keep pushing people to get vaccinated, but that's the really important, and that is under the national plan, that's the maximum level of vaccination protection. 80% double dosed. In the plan, I mean. That's our ultimate end point. At that mark, regional Victoria and metropolitan Melbourne will be on the same set of rules. There'll no longer be differences between the two. There'll be one set of rules for the whole state. To run you through the highlights of what that will look like. Up to 10 people, including dependents, will be allowed to visit your home. Up to 150 fully vaccinated people can dine indoors, and up to 30 can gather in public outside. Indoor community sport will be open. There'll be, again, requirements around numbers and things, but it will be open. Masks will only be required inside. Pubs, restaurants and cafes can open for seated service only, up to 150 fully vaccinated patrons inside and up to 500 patients outside. 500 patrons outside. 150 inside, 500 outside. From a work point of view, work from home if you can, but you can go to work if you are fully vaccinated. Hairdressing, beauty, personal care will be open for fully vaccinated people. Retail, all retail will be open. From an education point of view, early childhood education and childcare will be open fully. All students return to school with additional safety measures in place, and we aim to have that return to school as close to a normal pre-COVID, fully open school environment. As I said before, the Deputy Premier will be out in a few days' time to talk about airflow, ventilation, filtration, some of the other things we've done to make our school environments as safe as they can be. Things we've done and things we will do in the intervening period. On-site adult education returns for fully vaccinated Victorians as well. Weddings, funerals and religious services return for 150 fully vaccinated people indoors and 500 people outdoors. Now, there is then a gap between when we achieve 80% double dose and a number of very key moments for all of us, one way or the other. Whether it's New Year, the end of the working year, the middle of summer, Christmas, however you want to frame it. We aim to have 30 visitors to your home on Christmas Day. We aim to also deal with the consequences and deal with whatever we need to do around other decisions that the Commonwealth Government will make in that post-80% double dose framework. International travel will happen. I hope that interstate travel can happen. There will be a number of green lane countries or travel bubbles where people will be able to freely move between their country and therefore into our state. We will deliver all of that. We will deliver whatever the national plan determines fits within that time frame. A lot of that work has not yet been done. We have tried to predict out and plan and give people certainty as far out as we can, but trying to predict what things look like to great detail in January and February and beyond is a little bit challenging. Of course, with the passage of time, as weeks and months go by and we get closer to that 80% number, we'll be able to give people greater certainty about what 2022 looks like. But as a kind of bookend at the end of the year, this roadmap is predicated, and we're going to work as hard as we can. Our plan and our hope is to deliver 30 people in your home on Christmas Day. That is to say, Christmas as it was last year. Christmas as close to normal as possible. That's something that's very, very important. That is essentially the list of highlights. There's a lot more in the roadmap than that, but that is the list of highlights as I had committed to take you through.